In this video, you'll learn how to effectively paint miniature models. Very fast, easy, and like I said, effective. First, you'll want to start with a prime based here. So this is a black primer. Using black primer for most things, highlighting up from a black primer. This being a Star Wars model, Clone Trooper, in fact, it'll use a lot of white, so we're gonna be highlighting up to white. This, you could use a spray primer through an airbrush, or a rattle can primer. What I just showed you is a Vallejo airbrush primer. This is a model painted by that, sprayed with that. This model is in fact done with a rattle can primer, good old Rust-Oleum. Flat black primer. First level of highlighting, Mechanicus standard gray, dark gray, lighter gray, and a good old white. Just any kind of combination of darker grays leading to lighter grays, and then finishing with a white. This not being so necessary to do the darker grays because of the white armor on this model. And it's just dry brushing this on, dry brushing until you get to the lighter colors. Well, trying to focus the camera here. Not working. So in this step, it's really important to make sure the dry brushing goes on evenly. And like I said, as we're using a lot of white, it's not going to be as important in this model. It's a very good example of how fast you can get a model tabletop ready without putting a lot of fuss and effort into it. Here we're going with the final dusting of white. Here we can see now you want to fill in the rest of the gaps. You can see I've added more black into his gun and his eye visor along with his undersuit for his armor. Just finish the base coating because the next step is where the magic is going to happen here. Nope, sorry, one more step before that. Varnish. I want a protective coat. So good old satin varnish coming in. Could really use any kind of varnish except matte varnish. I wouldn't use matte varnish for this step because you want the next step to flow evenly over all surfaces of the model, and the gloss varnish is best. Satin varnish works a little bit worse than the gloss varnish, still works good to protect the model and help the next wash, which is an acrylic based wash, flow into the recesses of the model, creating the contrast from light to dark that you're going to see in a few minutes, and as well as giving it a rugged feel, rugged look. This protective varnish goes all over the model evenly. Again, this is an airbrushed varnish, but I go ahead and just paint this on, no problem with that. Painting it on. And here we go. This model is now ready for the magic step. What is the magic step, you might ask? Well, here we have AK Interactive Streaking Grime, the magic. And we're going to use some mineral spirits to dilute it eventually, and to peel off the remaining streaking grime. Here's the model we're using, like we just base coated. So we've done everything up to the definition at this point, I would say. We've base coated everything. Everything's got a good layer of paint on it. Now we are generously applying the streak and grime all over the model. This is straight out of the pot so far. No diluting with the mineral spirits. You can dilute it ahead of time. I don't. Make sure you can get into all the recesses, every nook and cranny of the model. Everything wants a good coating of grime. Now we will come back in with the mineral spirits here. Careful. And we will, with an old brush, bring back everything that we just put on there a little bit, bringing out the raised surfaces of the model and leaving the wash in the recesses. Do this all over the model, trying to thin down that thick coating of mud that you put on it. You wait about 15 minutes to dry. Drying time about 15 minutes before you start doing this, I should add. Again, just getting the shadows right, making sure there's definition in areas I want definition, and no out of place grime. Though you don't want to make it too perfect. And then the final step is to come in with an old cloth and just to dab the surfaces, getting rid of anything, any extra streak and grime that you don't want around. And this is basically your final step. Once this is complete, you have a final model that you can choose to do some highlighting on if you wish to. A highlighted model will look a little bit different, but this is basically tabletop ready within 20-25 minutes, not including drying time. So here we go, here's the final model, and then as an extra step, I did some highlighting, and you'll see right now, you'll see the highlighted and the finished model. Thanks for watching, guys, much appreciated.